Today I'm on the red trail and we're going to take a look at the Phragmites along Inlet Pond. The goldenrods are just about starting to bloom. Quite a number of insects on this goldenrod. This is what it looks like from the red path. There's a little opening where you could look in. You can see where the Phragmites were cut to about 2 feet, and you can see the marsh fleabane. The Phragmites are about 8 feet. I'm standing on the south side of Inlet Pond, facing north. Facing towards the sound to the west. You can see the Phragmites from the shore. It's August 31st, 2022. It's been a hot summer. You can see how the pond depth is getting a little shallow from evaporation. There's a lot of mud. So this is on the south side of Inlet Pond, facing east. Now on the right, you'll see where I cut, right in the center now, you'll see where I cut some of the Phragmites down to about 2 feet of height. Let's zoom in a little bit. we're right where the red trail kind of comes north and hits the south side of Inlet Pond. And there's a little opening there, and I could see that there was marsh fleabane, Saltmarsh Fleabane was growing. So I've cut the Phragmites down to about 2 feet to reveal the Saltmarsh Fleabane in just this area. So now we'll go and take a closer look at it. This is the Ego 56 volt hedge trimmer that I used. Actually, I cut these by hand. I brought the hedge trimmer today to do a little more cutting. So this is what the marsh fleabane looks like. You see it's all growing within the Phragmites. They were totally covered by Phragmites before. This is what it looks like before the Phragmites are cut. I usually notice a current coming from the west, the southwest, up to the west, to the east from this corner. I don't know if it's the wind or if there's some sort of a breach where the salt water is coming in, but I always notice the current going in this direction, flowing from the southwest, on the south side to the east, like that. So now we're on the southeastern part of Inlet Pond. We're on the eastern shore, now looking toward the sound and toward where we just were. That's the north side up there. This is the southeast side. You can see a lot of Phragmites here. They're much taller here. They're about 12 feet tall. And you can see where I cleared. In front of the Phragmites, you'll see Swamp Rose Hibiscus, which are about 3.5, 4 feet tall. Saltmarsh Fleabane here too. These were completely surrounded by Phragmites. You couldn't even see them. That's why they're a little weak looking. They're kind of spindly because they didn't get much sun until a couple weeks ago. It's amazing they even survived through this dense wall of Phragmites. Saltmarsh Fleabane. More stands of the marsh rose mallow all throughout this area. And there's a lot of baby ones on the ground, so hopefully next spring they will be more robust, they'll have more sun, and there'll be more of them, and hopefully this whole area will be just wall to wall swamp rose mallow. We're going to keep the Phragmites down. I'm just cutting the Phragmites to the height of the marsh rose mallow. Just to give them some sun. Here the swamp rose mallow is right along the path. Here's the path. It's growing right up to the path. So here's another swamp rose mallow right on the trail. Here's another one right on the path. Here's the path. And there it is. Here's another area with the Saltmarsh Fleabane, and in the back the swamp rose mallow. They're about 3 feet high, a little skimpy, but they had been covered all season and probably for the last few years with Phragmites that were like 10 or 12 feet tall. So it's a miracle they even grew at all. But if we keep the Phragmites down near them, hopefully next year maybe they'll grow 6 feet tall. They can grow very robustly. So we're again on the southeast side, a little bit more on the east as opposed to southeast. That's the south. That's where we just were. You can see how we kind of cleared the Phragmites along the shore, right around here, this whole area. Cleared it up there too. But then you could see beyond, it's just Phragmites. I didn't go there yet. Those are big, those are like 10, 12 feet tall. But they don't come in very far, you know, maybe 10 feet into the shoreline, into the land. It's not huge. Maybe even less, 6 feet. Just on the fringes. So maybe there's more marsh mallows or more marsh fleabanes up there. We'll see. There's Phragmites on the other shore. I haven't even touched those. They're only on the south and the southeast. There's where they've been cut. They've been cut in the front. They've not been cut in the back. There's a lot of algae on the pond surface. So now I'm on the north side of Inlet Pond. I'm just about to go down to the beach. So what we're doing here is trying to keep the Phragmites out from the native shrubs. Okay, so we just cut them so they don't stick up through the native shrubs because they look ugly. We just trim them so that they are no taller than the native shrubs. No taller than there's a lot of Rosa rugosa here too, which is not really native, but you don't like the Phragmites poking up higher than the vegetation. It looks ugly. This is what it looks like when it's sticking up above the native bushes. This is on our neighbor's property. I mean, next to the county property, the homeowners association. It doesn't look good. It just has to be trimmed. Here we trimmed the Phragmites earlier in the season, in between the Rosa rugosa, but it's growing back. You see how it's kind of poking back up. So look great. But, you know, if we have a chance, we'll trim it. And then behind there's some Phragmites. Not a huge amount, just some. We probably trimmed it earlier in the year and then it kind of grew back. There's some back there. We haven't really touched that. We haven't really worked on this western shore of the pond at all. There's little Phragmites there. So here's where we had trimmed it earlier in the year, maybe a month ago. And, you know, just to expose the Saltmarsh Fleabane, but some of the Phragmites growing back. See this kind of young stalks of it coming back. Saltmarsh Fleabane over there. Cut down the Phragmites. Pretty much cut it here too. See where it's low. It's coming back. The Phragmites are about 2 feet tall now. Coming back from about a month ago. But there's a lot of Saltmarsh Fleabane in there. I can still see the flowers. And then here's Phragmites at full height. This is kind of the northeast side, northeast of the platform. We did flatten a little bit of Phragmites right here because we were doing some trash cleanup right near the pavilion. Some wild grapevines growing along the shore too. The dragonfly.